This absolutely sucks. I was sitting here just yesterday filming the update video, complaining about how I made money, but it was a tough day, hoping today would be a bit easier. I think I even crossed my fingers for a better day. Well, I should have knocked on wood or something, because today was horrible. I haven't even done the math on the damage to my account yet, but it's in the realm of $30,000, and I have no one to blame but myself. I was stupid, I broke my rules, that all happened because I was greedy, then I doubled down, and then I chased it, and then I broke every rule. I cannot articulate how extremely infuriating it is to know what you should be doing and prove it to yourself mathematically, and then you just throw all those rules out the window and say, hey,
I'm just gonna wing it today.
Because whenever you do that, you blow out, or at least you risk the chance of blowing out. And granted, I'm still profitable on the year. I didn't fully blow out the account, but it's just so demoralizing. I'm filming this very shortly after all the damage, so I'm not quite sure the lessons to take from it beyond my own absolute anger towards myself. But I'm hoping in the future I could come back to this and maybe do a little bit of a psychoanalysis, see how I was and how I could improve it. But I'm hoping at least you watching in this in real time, I hope you can take something from this, but I don't know, it's still pretty raw. So in this update video, I'm gonna let you know what my trade was, how it went horribly wrong, how it cost me tens of thousands of dollars, and then I'm gonna get into the major news of the day and the very, very important things you need to be paying attention to tomorrow. Because if you thought today was a wild day in the market, tomorrow's it's gonna pale in comparison. Like, it's gonna be crazy tomorrow. So I'm gonna break all that down, and I don't know. We're just gonna see where this goes. So producer, roll the tape. By the time this stupid casino that I absolutely abhor and hate and never want to go to again closed today, Tuesday, March 19th, the Dow closes more than 300 points higher today, Tuesday, as the Fed rate decision looms. You know what also looms is my account getting kicked in the ball sack. Please take a step back, sit down, relax, grab a cup of coffee, and let me explain to you how I am the dumbest trader ever. And really, it's more from a massive lack of discipline. Market opened, we're below the previous day's close. That's pretty bearish. Then we sell down. I think, okay, cool, don't chase it. Be calm, be cool, be collected. Wait for your opportunity. Market dip a bit more. I said, nope, don't chase it. Came back up, and I was like, oh, a little bit of a trend reversal. Maybe yes, maybe no. I'm still leaning a bit bearish. And then all of a sudden, this happened. I see lower highs. I see a rejection at the EMAs. I see every telltale sign that the market's gonna be bearish. So I made a position. And folks, this is where it all went wrong. Not necessarily the fact that I just had a bet that did not work. That happens in the market. It's gonna happen quite commonly. My issue was greed. See, I knew that I'm not trading tomorrow on the FOMC date because they are notoriously volatile, notoriously whipsaw, and I just don't want to be in that circumstance. So I decided to double up on my bet today because I had visions of grandeur of how much money I should be making this week. And I figured, well, if I'm not trading one of those days, that means a different day I need to double up. And I just arbitrarily picked today to double up. So when I saw that this market was starting to break down, I thought to myself, be bearish, sell some call credit spreads, and go double the size because you're not going to be trading tomorrow. And the issue with that is my system is a system. As in, it tells me when to get in, when to get out, and how much to bet. When you start playing a little loosey-goosey with the rules on some of that, you're not trading a system anymore. You're a degenerate gambler in the market. And obviously, that can be really fun if you're on the right side of it. But I don't know if you saw the market today. I wasn't on the right side of it because out of nowhere, I'm looking good for the first 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then it started to rip. And I thought to myself, okay, you're double the size. Don't be too crazy. What? Don't be crazy. You bet too much. That would be an insane thing to do. Just wait for a little bit of a pullback and you should get out of the position. Which, that you listening to this right now, that might sound like a good idea. That might sound like a phenomenal idea. Except there wasn't a pullback. It just kept going, folks. And then before you know it, I'm pretty much at max loss. I want to cry in the shower. And it all comes back to me breaking my rules, breaking my system. As I alluded to before, I cannot articulate enough how absurdly frustrating it is to dedicate hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of your life to developing a trading system that you know is profitable. You've backtested it. You've done it on out of sample testing. You've done Monte Carlo, variance, seasonality. You've run it through the gauntlet, and this thing produces money. And then all of a sudden you're like, nah, I think I'm just going to go with my gut today. And that's what I did as the person who made it. I feel like I'm driving myself insane right now. And you also just feel stupid. To be completely honest with all of you, I am documenting my recovery process from a loss that I took 2 weeks ago. And before that, I was just documenting my success on the year. So yeah, you feel extra stupid. Not only did I lose tens of thousands of dollars, that very much matters to me. I have to explain it to my fiance. I have to explain it to everyone in the Discord, and then I have to explain it to all of you, and then I have to accept it myself. So yes, when times are good and winning, that's the extra benefit. But when you're losing, I'm not all of a sudden gonna go dark and hide it from you guys. If anything, I think you could take more from it, but you feel like a special sort of dunce when I have to sit here and explain that, hey, I had all these rules, the system proved it, I decided to break them, and it cost me dearly. That sounds like the dumbest thing ever. If I was giving myself advice, I'd be like, hey dude, follow the rules. But something just happens in our lives where every once in a while, though the situation comes across and you're like, nah, not following the rules. And it can cost you dearly. So please, 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 especially if you're new in your career and you're watching this right now, if you have a rule, I beg of you, just stick to it. Because all of a sudden, if you let one go, like me today, it can cascade. And all of a sudden you can start breaking all your rules. And then before you know it, you have a loss that's gonna really take a lot longer to come back from. And what I mean by that, and my specific frustration, is the loss I took 2 Fridays ago, I estimated in a very conservative sense that it would take me about 6 weeks to recover based on the expected return of my model. Now, because of today, that runway is now extended by about 4 more weeks. So in one stupid day's decision, I've added 4 more weeks of work to my life just to get back to that high watermark on the year, no less the profits that I would have made in that extra time. So it's beyond frustrating. And I get it. When I was talking to some of the people in the Discord, when I was talking to some of my trading friends, they're like, well, you can't be that mad because on stream today, trading all those Apex SIMDA funded trader accounts, you successfully pulled out 22 grand. And I get that. And I can't, yes, I get it. I know that I made a lot more money, and if I look at it, but I kind of treat each one as a different pot of how is futures going? How is options going? So I'm just focused on one particular pillar. Yes, my overall net worth, it didn't fluctuate that much today by the time everything nets out, but it's much more than the money. I can't say it's not just the money because yes, I care very much if I'm making money, if I'm losing money in my trading. I pride myself on that. But it's much more of if I were to give a rating to myself of how did I psychologically handle it, I'm below an F-. And that's the real anger. And I know that's not going to make the most sense to a lot of you watching this, but to some of you, I think you're going to be right there with me. Whether it might be the money going up or down, but it's more of the grading of how you handled that with your own discipline. And that's the thing that just drives me off the edge of when I lack that. And that's a very important thing to have for trading. If you want to survive the marathon of trading, that's the thing that you want to be lights out, 5 stars out of 5 stars. And when I see that start to falter, it's one thing if my system takes a loss. Systems are going to take a loss. There's no such thing as a holy grail. There's no such thing as a perfect model. But that is very different than your own psychology. And when I see my psychology just going off the edge, that's the thing that it frustrates me, it scares me, it embarrasses me, it makes trading 100 times more difficult. But anyway, that's where we're at, and I feel stupid for complaining about yesterday when it's almost like the narrator would be saying, he's like, only if you knew what's about to come. So there's where I'm at. I'm not going to hide it from you. It's just the truth. And I think in the comments, a lot of you are gonna be like, wow, he actually is stupid. Why doesn't anyone listen to him? And I get it. I'm just going to eat the shit as you guys give it to me. Cause hey, I get it. It's the internet. But to those of you who care about truth and transparency, I owe it to you. I could easily hide this from everyone. I could easily focus on the fact on the other $20,000+ I made trading. But I don't want to do that because that's not what you do. That's not being open. That's not being honest. That's not being transparent. So it is what it is. I'm still going to document this recovery process going forward. And hopefully I can keep my own psychology on the rails moving forward. That is 100% the goal. I am displeased with my performance of it thus far, but here's to hoping that, I don't know, maybe today will scare myself onto the right path or something like that. I don't know. In a comment below, if you've been in a situation like this where you're just like really mentally beating yourself up, I would love to know what you did. And like, I know every person is different from person to person, but I'm curious out there if you guys have any like tips or tricks of when you're like, you know, you broke your own rules, you're angry at yourself for breaking your own rules. What did you do? Just the next day you started again and you thought it would be better? Did you take some time off? Is there a little secret mantra that I just need to know about that no one's taught me yet? I'm curious what like your personal human, I guess, experiences with that are. So definitely let me know. I also want to let you know that tomorrow's going to be even crazier. So Wednesday, March 20th, I hope you are watching this in time because there are massive swings, huge volatility incoming. Today's the start of the FOMC meeting. Tomorrow's we get the result. It's the conclusion of the FOMC meeting. The Federal Open Market Committee meeting is where the Fed, led by Chairman Jerome Powell, they decide what to do with the Fed fund rate. We get the result at 2 p.m. Eastern, and then Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Fed, will be giving a public press conference speech at 2:30. You should also know that there's more macroeconomic events coming out on Thursday, and then Jerome Powell's once again speaking Friday morning. But anyway, it's all going down with Jerome Powell, the Fed, tomorrow, Wednesday, results at 2, and then Jerome Powell speaks at 2:30. Here's everything to expect from the Federal Reserve's policy meeting Wednesday. The Fed has a lot to do at this meeting this week, but ultimately may not end up doing a whole lot in terms of changing the outlook on monetary policy. So to explain what they mean there, as of right now, the Fed fund rate, which has the trickle-down impact on really what's going on with mortgages, federal student loans, credit cards, bank lending, it has an impact on pretty much every aspect of our life. Well, it's at 5.25%, and there's a 99% chance that it's going to stay at 5.25%. Most likely not going to change because inflation recently, two different readings, the CPI and the PPI came in hot. Retail sales are not where they want it to be. There's problems. So they're not going to cut the Fed fund rate when we're still battling inflation. Though the quarterly plot of individual member expectations is pretty arcane, this meeting likely will be all about the FOMC's dot plot of individual members' interest rate expectations. What do they mean by that? So basically, every other FOMC meeting, you can see how this one has a star, this one has the star, this one has the star, this one has the star. You get what's referred to as the SEP, the Summary of Economic Projections. Basically, all the voting Fed members, I believe there's 19 of them, they all get to put little dots on little charts of where they think things are going. Unemployment up or down, the Fed fund rate up and down. Those are just two examples of many things where we can see where the body as a whole, and that's why it looks like a bunch of dots, i.e. why it's called the dot plot. Anyway, that's coming out tomorrow. That happens every other FOMC meeting, so arguably this one's a little bit more important than the previous one. Officials will also release their quarterly update on the economy, specifically for the GDP, gross domestic product, inflation, and the unemployment rate. The TLDR is we're getting a huge amount of massively impactful information tomorrow. It all comes out at 2, and then that's when the fire's starting. And then at 2:30, there's a bunch of people running in with a lot of gasoline, throwing it onto the fire, and then we get to watch the party until market concludes at 4 p.m. So like I said, I hope you're watching this in time. I hope you're buckled up because it's gonna be absolutely crazy. Now, the other thing I just need you to know about very quickly is sign up for this. It's a free newsletter, mattkohrs.locals.com. It's pinned below. I break down the week. I give you an idea of all the upcoming things, such as the FOMC meeting, the press conference, all that good stuff. Earnings, like for example, later on this week, we're going to be hearing from Nike, FedEx, Lululemon. You might be caring about those. And then I give you the seasonality for each individual day of the week. And just so you know, Wednesday, the day of the FOMC meeting, historically, as in over the past 25 years, the past 2.5 decades, it's just gone sideways. This graph on the chart right here is generated from simultaneously buying at open, then selling at close on the S&P 500 futures market over the past 25 years. This is what the equity curve would look like if you did that. Pretty choppy. And I just want to let you know, I did a deeper dive specifically on FOMC days, and it's effectively flipping a coin. Looking at the past 10, Some of them were green, some of them were red, no clear trend. The only thing that seemed to be pretty obvious was expect high volatilities, massive swings at 2, then again at 2:30, and then sometimes we even got a third whole wave of a push all the way into market close. So the only thing that I can statistically say better than 50-50 odds is expect very large swings. So definitely pay attention to not only the 2 p.m. results, but what Jerome Powell says at 2:30, and obviously I will be streaming the whole thing. Overall, that's what I have for you. I have to admit, I very much did not want to make this video. No one wants to make a video and talk to the internet when they lost a lot of money, especially because you might not have figured this out, but the internet is not the nicest place. I have nothing but the utmost faith in my own abilities and my trading skills to make it back. Like I said, it's going to take about 2 months is currently the timeline, and it's going to be fine. It's just in the meantime, the frustration at myself that I am not the most stoked to deal with, if I'm being completely honest. Anyway, I want to be transparent. I want to be open because that's the major thing I see lacking in the world of retail. So it is for what it is for right now. And I'll catch you in the next one. I appreciate your time. Good luck tomorrow. Expect craziness. And I hope you absolutely crush it. Catch you in the next one.
Peace out.